Hello and welcome back, all my Newsnet junkies. This is the one and only Good News with the good news. Leading this evening is the latest news from the Ultramax Meta Prison out in New Mexico. Stronghold Prison, or as I like to call it, Freakopolis, has just been the target of a breakout. Stormwind, the psychopathic leader of the old crime troupe Four Seasons, has been broken out by one-time enemy and presumable current ally, Dr. Komodo. Now, I know Dr. Komodo is a real throwback, so for all those who have already trashed those old memory files, allow me to do a bit of a restore. Dr. Komodo is, a former metahuman biologist for Primus's precursor. But after an accident in his lab, he began to lose touch with his senses and sense of humanity, becoming a giant lizard man with some odd super acidic bile he could regurgitate onto victims. Or, so goes the line we were fed. But the whole story of an accident always seemed a bit fishy to me. Or lizardy in this case. But that's a story I've covered enough in Oldcast, which, by the by, can be downloaded from our archive. I'll post links to the stories on the Reddit threads after the broadcast. But back to the main story. Given that the last time Dr. Komodo and the Four Seasons were seen together, they were trying to rip each other apart, this breakout seems very ominous. According to Hero Ned Herald, the feds are currently moving Jason Riptide Smith, the other captured member of the Four Seasons, from his cell in the Supermax prison in Colorado to an undisclosed location. Since Riptide didn't have any metahuman mutations and relied solely on his water suit he created, it was deemed he couldn't be held in Freakopolis upon conviction. The remaining two members of the Four Seasons group are still in the large, but have stayed quiet for at least the last 3 years following the capture of Stormwind and Riptide. Could this be phase 1 of a bid to reunite the Four Seasons, as the news media is speculating, or is something more going on here? Dr. Komodo has always seemed a bit unstable and prone to vengeance campaigns, but it has been 3 years, so I can't imagine he went through all the trouble of breaking out Stormwind simply to settle his score. But that also begs the question, how did Dr. Komodo break into Freakopolis and get away with Stormwind on his own? He had to have had help, but no news reports are coming out that others had helped him in this endeavor. Is someone keeping that hushed? Dr. Komodo and the other two members of the Four Seasons' silence for the last few years has been alarming. Returning to the Reddit poll we put up this afternoon about Old Lady McGraw, it would seem that the majority of you Newsnet junkies are leaning towards the whole story being just a figment of McGraw's imagination. And while I have no proof yet to say otherwise, never be too quick to dismiss what you think are the ravings of a madman. Not in this city. When pushed for comment at an unrelated press briefing, the news spokeswoman, Julianne Marcel, seemed surprised by the question and reminded the attending reporters that Miss McGraw, following the Midtown Millennium City Library incident, has been, and I'm quoting her now, prone to bouts of zealous imagination. I, for one, would like to remind Miss Marcel, though, that it was Old Lady McGraw's zealous imagination that saved Miss Magic from being eaten whole by the book sharks that had just started to haunt that library. It was a real shame to see Miss McGraw forced to resign as chief librarian following that incident, though. Personally, I am thinking that something is going on. I'm not sure what, but I'm leaning towards something supernatural. Too many weird things seem to be lining up these days. What with the corrupted showing up, Miss Magic needing to take a leave from the champions, Director Garrick's 180, too many odd things lining up in the supernatural column to just be ignored. Speaking of Director Garrick, no news bits have come out regarding Inquisition, the bishop they brought in, nor the corrupted. How long does it take to perform an exorcism, folks? Seriously, I have no clue. No, so if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to leave this one up to you fellow Newsnet junkies. tweet me at NNJGNU, or comment on the subreddit. And with that said, we're going to call this one an end. So thank you for tuning in, my fellow Newsnet junkies. Thank you, and until next time.